And welcome back to the Dr. Jimbo Love Show. We are here with Seth Matthew, and we are going to talk a little bit of NFL football now. Lots of things going on, right? Lots of stuff. We got the Von Miller trade. We got Henry Ruggs, unfortunately, who killed a lady because he was drunk driving accident, which is very unfortunate for a young player. Derrick Henry out for the season, and we have Jordan Love from Utah State, who's going to be filling in for Aaron Rodgers because of a positive COVID test. Seth, I'm going to let you take any one of those things and tell me what you think about and then we have Odell Beckham as well.
Yep.
We were just talking about. Odell Beckham has been cut by the Cleveland Browns and is now an unrestricted free agent. But from what Seth just told me, he is requiring a team that signs him to pay the $7.2 million remaining on his contract?
Yeah, that's just for them to sign him. So the Browns restructured his contract to drop his last 2 years with the team. And the Browns wanted to help him out, lower his price that they would have to pay to get him, and Odell said no. Now, the likelihood that somebody's going to pick him up for half a season, because that would mean you only get him for the half a season before you have to re-sign him again. I think that he might be done for this season. I'll be interested to say he hits waivers on Monday, so the earliest he can be signed is Tuesday, and we'll see if anyone takes the bait. According to the NFL salary cap, there's only about 8 or 9 teams that can actually afford him, and none of them are that good.
Right.
You have the Eagles in there that they need a wide receiver. They can afford him. The Bengals are doing well.
Yep.
They could afford him, but do you really want to mess up what you have with Jamar Chase?
Well, you saw what happened with Antonio Brown a couple years back with the Steelers. He was the premier wide receiver in the NFL, and he jerks around, and now he's playing for the Bucs. I mean, he's still an incredible talent, but his career has never been the same.
Yeah.
Will this be the end of Odell Beckham? We don't know.
And I think we really got to look into, all the teams he's been on, he's kind of been cancerous. And so
Totally.
If you want to take a risk of bringing that in your locker room, if your team's doing fine, or even if they're not, do you really want to bring it in and you're going to have to rebuild after he destroys your locker room?
Right, and $7.2 million is not easy to do.
No.
Not easy to handle. Now, Von Miller just got traded from the Broncos. There's a lot of Bronco fans that are sad, but to be honest with you, if you're a football fan, if you're a true football fan that understands mechanics and everything of how you build a team, getting a second and a third round draft pick for Von Miller isn't a bad deal, especially when the Broncos seem to be looking towards next year and rebuilding.
Well, and I think the Broncos fans are more upset because of personal things. Because Von Miller was a number 2 overall pick. He's been here his whole career. He's a staple. If you see Broncos jerseys, any other team you see wide receivers, quarterbacks. I mean, here you saw Manning for a bit, but Von Miller is the number 1 jersey I see out here.
It's amazing.
He's just loved.
He was the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 50, the one the Broncos won. So that's another reason. And you're right, he is definitely a fan favorite.
And that trade, Broncos fans, I could see. I know there's a California-Colorado divide here, but him going to the LA Rams, I think the LA Rams are the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
7-1 LA Rams, it just helps.
You put him with Aaron Donaldson and you have Jalen Ramsey, that defense is the scariest defense in the league right now.
Definitely, I agree with you. What are your feelings about the Titans? How are they going to recover after losing Derrick Henry, who's out for the season?
So I think the Titans are going to struggle. I think they're still going to make playoffs. They say he might make it back for playoffs because they're saying might be 10 weeks. It all kind of depends on recovery. You never know what you're going to get. Michael Thomas just came out and said he will not play this season because he had a setback in his injury. So, when it comes down to it, you have Adrian Peterson now. He's kind of old for a running back, not old as a person.
Adrian Peterson is back, folks.
And they say he's going to run the Derrick Henry carries in right now is what I'm hearing, is that he's going to be running 20, 30 times. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with that team.
Absolutely. And I'm a big fan of Adrian Peterson. I liked him when he was at Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, he was at Oklahoma, and then he was with Minnesota Vikings. Yep. And then he kind of hopped around after the Vikings and hasn't had the same production over the last couple of years. But he has played for teams that aren't as stacked as the Titans. And the Titans need a running back because I do not believe in Tannehill, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones to win it for this team.
Yeah. Now, we have another big development. The 7-1 Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID. Ended up finding out that he wasn't vaccinated. He's creating even some more controversy because he's talking to Joe Rogan about how Joe Rogan got past his COVID using the non-colonial antibodies. And of course, the left is just not happy with him one bit at all. So it'll be interesting to see. What are your feelings about Jordan Love, Utah State graduate? He's only thrown, 6-7 passes in the NFL?
Yeah, so it's going to come out to be real interesting because this whole offseason drama at the beginning of the year was, they already drafted their quarterback of the future. Well, now we're going to find out. He's sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a couple years now. If you're ready, you're ready. But, I mean, if you're not ready, Aaron Rodgers is getting signed again. Right. And so it's really going to be interesting. If he comes out and plays like Mike White from the Jets did, where he is now in the Hall of Fame because of 500 overall yards and 3 touchdowns in his first game, then all of a sudden you can let go of Aaron Rodgers. There's no more pressure on you having to woo Rodgers the rest of the season to get him to re-sign with you. So this is going to be a huge game. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion Jordan Love is not the guy. So we are really going to run into this. I expect a couple picks. I expect some nerves. He's playing a Kansas City team not Kansas City. Who does Green Bay?
Green Bay's playing the Chiefs.
They are playing Kansas City.
They're playing Kansas City. Yeah, they're playing in Kansas City, so they're going to have that crowd noise. I mean, Love is going to be going against a lot of different factors.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, even though the Chiefs are struggling, they're still a team that has been to the Super Bowl multiple years, while Green Bay has came up a little short these last couple of years.
And we'll be talking a little bit about that Packers-Chiefs game here in a moment. Well, that brings us to our first featured game, and that is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Vikings are 3-4. They were surging, and they had a little trouble last week against the Cowboys, lost 2016.
To a backup quarterback,
which I was really surprised about.
It's embarrassing.
The Ravens are coming off a loss to the Bengals. We know the well-documented running back problems and the injury problems the Ravens are having this year, losing J.K. Dobbins and Edwards.
Well, and they're coming off a bye week, so a little bit more rested.
They're a little rested, and the Vikings have a good pass defense too. So let's see what happens with Lamar Jackson. Will he be able to step up to the game? What have you got?
Yeah, so this is how I see this one going. Right now, the Baltimore Ravens have the worst pass defense in the league. But the issue is Mike Zimmer plays one system regardless of who he plays. So he's going to run heavy against a top 3 run defense, and he's still going to throw his throws. Now, maybe he'll change it. Adam Thielen did come out last week, and he called out Mike Zimmer for his poor play calling and trying to sit on leads. If you watch the Vikings this year, they don't have any issue at the beginning of the game. They always score a couple touchdowns, but then Mike Zimmer puts on the brakes, and he blows all the leads. So we're really running into a Vikings team that came off a terrible loss. Everything tells me the Ravens are going to win, but the Vikings are known to win games they shouldn't. So we'll just have to see if Mike Zimmer is going to change it up and utilize Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. They should have big days because this Baltimore's pass coverage is awful. Jamar Chase crushed them. And Justin Jefferson is just as good. If you remember, he was up for Rookie of the Year last year. I believe he was edged out. But this should be a high-scoring game, and Lamar Jackson's going to do Lamar Jackson, and he's going to be running all over the field and making plays. I picked Baltimore, but don't be surprised if the Vikings are hanging in there at the end of the game.
Well, me being a Steeler fan, I'm definitely a Vikings fan this week, and I'm going to pick an upset. I for some reason, feel like Kirk Cousins is going to play way above his head, and I think they're going to take the reins away from, like you said, your coach there. Is he your offensive coordinator?
He calls a lot of plays. He's kind of a control freak.
Is he? Okay.
He's known for being a defensive-minded coach. Yep, Mike Zimmer.
Okay. So let's just see, and let's hope. And so I'll take the Vikings. You got the Ravens, and we'll see how it turns out next week. This brings us to the Packers versus the Chief games. We alluded a little bit about what was going on with Aaron Rodgers. Packers are 7-1, lost a real close game to Arizona, but without Aaron Rodgers, I mean, what kind of Packer team do we have? It's going to be very interesting. The Chiefs just came out of a victory over the Giants, even though it wasn't the impressive victory that I was looking for the Chiefs to be back in stride. So the Chiefs have struggled quite a bit this year. They're 4-4.
Well, and the Packers beat Arizona. They're the ones that took
Packers beat Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
So that's the one loss for Arizona.
Okay.
That was a Packers team. Now this is interesting. You have a backup quarterback who's your future, but he gets all the wide receivers back. Aaron Rodgers beat Arizona with no wide receivers. Everybody was on the COVID list. You know, you have J.J. Watt out for the season. Chase Edmonds is questionable. DeAndre Hopkins is questionable. Kyler Murray. Oh, wait. Now we're on Arizona. But you go with the Chiefs. You have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's been out for a while. He's supposed to be your staple at running back. Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes have not hooked up like they used to be. But I see that changing. Everybody that is a football fan keeps saying, even after any Chiefs loss or any Chiefs close games, that, you know what, they're going to get it back.
It's just a matter of time. You know, it's funny that the Vegas has the Chiefs as a 7-point underdog.
Yeah, and I think Vegas is starting to realize, because they keep having the Chiefs favored, that, you know what, the Chiefs aren't the same. But I give the Chiefs the edge to beat the Packers. Jordan Love, I do not think has a great debut. Even though he's playing a weaker defense, it's your first day up. Everyone's been waiting to see you play. There's a lot of pressure on this game for your future and for Aaron Rodgers' future as well.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. This brings us to the Monday night game, the Steelers versus the Bears. Again, you've got the 4-3 Steelers against the 3-5 Bears. The Bears have lost their last 3 games, but the Bears' defense is tough, and the Steelers' defense is tough too. So I think you're going to see a low-scoring game here, dominated by the 2 defenses.
Yeah, and I mean, the Steelers and Bears have played just ugly games this year. It has not been the most exciting to watch. Najee Harris has been the highlight of the Steelers this year so far. And then the Bears, Trey Lance, you're getting better every single week. You had an amazing run, or Justin Fields, wow, had some amazing runs. And I really think he's going to come into his own. And we'll have to see how it plays out. I give the edge to the Steelers because, you know, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers are going to come and handle the Bears. And Justin Fields is just going to keep getting better.
And I give the edge to the Steelers as well. One thing about Najee Harris, he was chosen as the offensive rookie of the month of October, which is nice. And we've seen him come on, become a dual threat, not only a runner, but also a pass catcher out of the backfield. We apologize for this. We're at Brothers in Northfield, and as you can hear, they turn the speaker on here, and that's okay. So we'll just deal with it and just talk a little louder.
Yeah.
The next game that we're featuring is the Titans versus the Los Angeles Rams. Again, we talked a little bit about Adrian Peterson being back for the Titans and Derrick Henry being out. The Rams are 7-1, having just gotten better and better with the acquisition of Von Miller.
Yeah, and I see the Rams handling this game, no problem. Cooper Kupp's having his career year. Matt Stafford, now that he has players around him, is just lights out. Adding Von Miller to that defense, they don't even have to score that much. And the Titans, without Derrick Henry, are not the same Titans that they used to be. So I see the Rams winning by over 14 points.
Yeah, I think so too. I've got the Rams in this one as well. Broncos versus Cowboys. Again, the Cowboys are coming off a 4-point victory over the Vikings last week. Dak Prescott is back. The Broncos, it's going to be interesting. How does the defense react to the loss of their captain, team leader, Von Miller?
So I think the biggest one of this is it's going to be a rough game for the Broncos. Ezekiel Elliott's going to have some big runs. He's going to eat all day all over these Broncos. The question is, can Teddy, with Jerry Jeudy back, get some plays down to actually hang in this game? I think the Cowboys, with only 1 loss this season, handle the Broncos pretty handily. I'm going to go again, another 14-point spread on this game.
Yep. And I'm going with the Cowboys as well. Our last game that we're featuring is a bitter rivalry in the AFC North. You've got the Cleveland Browns coming off a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers last week versus Cincinnati, who picked up a victory over the Ravens last week, which was a very, very big win for Cincinnati.
Actually, Cincinnati was the team that lost to the Jets, Mike White.
Last week. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry about that. It was 2 weeks ago.
Yes, they're coming off a loss, but Cleveland Browns are beat up. They're slowly getting their players back. Baker's still hurt. Cincinnati just looks amazing this year. The Odell drama's out of the locker room. I think that might help, but Jarvis keeps getting banged up. So I'm going to say Cincy walks away with this one again. Jamar Chase, you Rookie of the Year, hands down the best player out there. I think Cincinnati stays on top of their division, and they walk all over this injured Browns team.
Yep, and they're talking about 3 points that may help the Browns. The Browns must get Joe Burrow off his spot. One thing about Joe Burrow, he was a great quarterback in college, but if you can get him to move around the pocket a little bit, he doesn't like those different angles. The other thing is can they stop Chase, remember his former teammate from LSU, from catching the slant routes? That's just been a killer combination for Cincinnati. And the last thing is can they get a lead? And if they do, they can go in their 3 and 5 wide defense coverage, and we'll have to see how that plays out. I want to invite you to come down here to Very Loud Brothers Bar and Grill here. And we're sitting on the patio. Again, you can kind of see that we're sitting in a ski chair here. Here we are, we're rocking a little bit. And it's just one of the short little comfort features that are part of this bar and grill. Seth, tell us a little bit about those gator balls and some of the food that you've got here.
Yeah, so we're your basic Midwestern comfort bar food. We got burgers, wings. Wings are to die for. If you haven't had a chance, all of our sauces are made from scratch. Nothing's frozen, everything's cooked fresh. And it's just something you can't get. I think they're the highest quality wings you can get out here in Colorado, or I'd put our wings up against almost anybody's. But we have all the games on, like he said. You have a game you want to watch. We're showing the UFC tonight. Usman and Covington are fighting for the title again. Usman beat him last time, so this is a rematch. And we just always try to throw the best party and have the most fun. We're a great family environment during the day. And for everybody that wants to get wild at night, come in at 10 p.m. We're open till 2 a.m. every single day.
Yeah, how'd that great Halloween costume party turn out last weekend?
It was great. We had quite a few costumes. Our winner was Jessica Wynn, and she had a very creepy and very creative costume for Halloween.
What was she?
I don't remember. I don't even remember. It was something from Beetlejuice, I believe.
Oh, okay. Maybe she was Winona Ryder or something like that. So, well, great. Well, again, next week we'll be back at 10 o'clock again here from Brothers at the shops of Northfield. In the meantime, come on down and check out a game. Come down and get some food. Seth and I will be here all day, and what a beautiful weekend here in Colorado.
Yeah, we're looking at 70 degrees. It is amazing.
Unbelievable for November 6th. You just can't beat this. And this is what I moved to Colorado for. One of the great things about it is it gets cold here, but it doesn't stay cold like it does well, of course, Seth is from Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm from upstate New York. Once it's cold until spring.
I still remember we had baseball seasons canceled because it was too cold throughout the year.
Yeah, my senior year we had a track meet canceled on May 15th because we had 6 inches of snow. And back then, Seth, back 35 years ago, we still had a cinder track. So you can imagine what kind of soup that turned into.
Yeah.
So, anyways, well, thank you very much, Dr. Jimbo Love. With all the noise, we're very sorry, but that's live radio for you. So we'll see you next week, and in the meantime, have a great day. Get out there and enjoy it. Earn it.
See you guys.